Let's go. Yo. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast. And that's facts.
Hello and welcome to the Chicago Sports Podcast. I'm your host D Nice, and I am with my man Bishop, and we have a familiar face with us here with the Chicago Sports Podcast, my man Matt Cooper. Welcome you guys, welcome everyone to Thursday night with the Chicago Sports Podcast. We're going to talk a little Bears. Training camp day 2's in the books. And they left us with some things to talk about and a few little things to speculate on. So we're going to do that tonight. Before we start, I want to welcome my guys, my man Bishop, who's always with me Thursday night, and a new familiar face to Thursday night. Well, new face to Thursday night, but a familiar face is my man Matt Cooper. Welcome, Matt.
Guys, I am
Matty
pumped to be with you guys,
Ice.
man.
Matty
Listen,
Ice.
we are
Hell
huge
yeah.
fans. We are huge fans of yours, sir. And welcome. Thank you for kicking it with us tonight.
And I gotta say this too. I'm a huge fan of you guys, man. I watch every Thursday night. So when it was coming on, be on with you guys on Thursday nights, man, I'm like, dude, I'm pumped for this, man, because you guys are awesome to watch. So I'm ready to go with you guys and everybody else, dude. This is gonna be fun.
Right on. We appreciate you, bro. Hey, and not only that, we appreciate you guys watching wherever you're watching from. Welcome. Gonna give you guys a little chance to get on in here. Shout out to my man Trapper Keeper who's holding it down in the in the trap in the chat.
Oh man, Trapper Keeper, what's going on, man? It's been a
Yeah,
minute. How
yes
you
What
been,
up,
indeed.
man?
brother? Where
Yes
you been
indeed.
hiding, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you in the building.
Yes indeed. And wherever you guys are watching from, welcome. And we thank you for giving your time to us. Just a couple of Bears fans talking Bears to Bears fans. So, with that being said, we're gonna get this thing kicked off. Training camp day 2 is in the books, guys. How you feel about it?
Well, I feel good the fact that we are in day 2. I don't feel good about some news that kind of trickled out of there. But again, it's only day 2, so I'm not gonna get too worried or be too concerned. However, um, I can't say that I'm not a little disappointed, you know, only because this is much needed time that a couple players really need to be on the field doing ramp ups, getting themselves acclimated. And these are offensive guys, so it's even more imperative for them to be on the field. Uh, Colston Loveland, he's been out there, he's in ramp up. But the one that really concerns me the most is the injury to Luther Burden the third. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna refer to him as LB3. And it finally has been disclosed. We've always been hearing about a soft tissue injury and not quite knowing exactly what did that mean. And then today they finally did disclose that he's been dealing with a hamstring. So,
Mm,
as we were talking behind the scenes, D Night, hamstrings can be tricky. You know, some guys can bounce back from them quickly, others not so. Um, I'm assuming that this might be Luther's or LB3's first major injury because I couldn't really see anything from his college days in terms of has he dealt with anything, especially lower body, hamstring, knee, ankle, things of that nature, calf. So I haven't heard anything. I wasn't able to find much on that. Um, but again, I'm assuming that the training staff is just being very cautious, especially with the position that he plays. He is a wide receiver. He's going to be called upon to be able to get free, shake loose and do different things, man, in terms of being in the slot. And they might even line him up outside. So his explosiveness is very much necessary. So I'm just going to be optimistic and say that this is a day-to-day thing, not a week-to-week, and hopefully we'll see him sooner than later.
Go
What's
for
your take, Matt?
go for it, Matt.
Yeah, you bring up some good points. And when we talk about training camp, I think the things that stand out to me is right away are the coaches, watching the coaches and their press conferences and looking at their demeanor. And I'm like, whoa, man, this is way different than what we've had the last couple of years. So I think that's been pretty cool so far. But I know it's so stupid. I mean, we go because we always go through coaches all the time, but just to watch Dennis Allen and Ben Johnson talk, and I'm like, man, these guys command your attention. So I like watching those guys. I like watching them talk about the first couple of days. But to your point too, Bishop, we're talking about Burden being out. It's funny because you said I was also going back to see. I was like, does this guy have any injury history? Because I'm not going to lie, I don't sit here and watch a lot of Missouri football, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching a lot of stuff on him coming out. And what stood out to me was the speed on this guy. And this guy's got
Yeah.
so much speed. And you just see him break away. Once he's got that ball, there was a couple of clips that I watched with him when he was in college, and you see the speed and the breakaway that he has on certain points in the video. So when you start thinking about a hamstring, it's only 2 days in, so I'm not going to sit here and worry. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, I'm just going to let it flow, let it play out. But when you got a speedster like that guy, and you start thinking hamstring, and I was like, that can kind of determine. I don't know if that can get in your head or not. I'm trying to remember because I'm a runner. I'm trying to think if I had any hamstring problems in doing in some of my runs. But sometimes that can
Mm-hmm.
get in your head. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I'm hoping that this is just a short term, and then he can get out there because when you're in a new offense and a rookie that's coming into a brand new offense, man, every single day is so important to be out there for camp. And losing days, man, that's
Yeah.
just a
And,
disadvantage
and,
to you.
and you know what, Matt? And that's the reason why I started doing the research because I've been thinking the same thing. I'm like, has this guy ever had any real major injury before? Because I know that can mess with your psyche. So I'm like, okay, if this soft tissue lower body, and they ruled out nothing joint wise, so no knee, no ankle. Okay, didn't hear anything about a foot. So I'm like, okay, can only be a couple things. Is it, we got hammy, we got calf. What's going on here? What's and groin? Didn't hear anything about a groin. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? And is this more of a psychological thing than a physical? And for me, I think it would matter if they could at least report to us and say, "Hey, look, he was out there doing walkthroughs. We saw some movement, so on and so." But we're not hearing anything.
No,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree with both you guys. And Matt, you say you're a runner.
I am, yeah.
Um, I I'll be willing to guess that you're not a 4-4 runner, right?
4 years old, man.
Man, look,
Unless I'm chasing to go
look,
get a beer or something, man, I might run as fast as I can. But
I heard that, but like, those soft tissue issues, those muscle issues, hamstring stuff like that, for guys that's gifted with that quick twitch ability, those injuries, hampers those guys the most. And what we all know about, I mean, for what we all know about the muscles, they're stubborn. Muscles are stubborn, and especially the older you get. But when you're young like that, and you have to be at your best level, those things gonna always linger, a little longer than they should. All he can do is continue to do treatment, but you guys bring up an interesting point. He's going to start off behind the 8 ball. Probably once he gets in there, he's going to start with the third team reps. And like I explained last night, I'm more interested to see how he responds to this. Starting from the bottom, at a different level of football because him being from Pee Wee League all the way to high school and then going to college, he's been the guy for the most part. What's important to me and what's going to be important for his development and what's going to help the Bears the most is to see how he responds to coming from behind. Now, this could be a good thing for us, I think. The fact that he's, because it when you really want it, that hunger develops, man, and we're going to see how much of a dog he is. So that should bring out the best in him, and that will help the Bears tremendously.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
I'm with you.
And we see Jason in the chat. Jason said he's getting Kevin White vibes from this.
Oh
Uh,
no, no, no! Come on,
uh,
we're not even gonna go there. No,
uh,
sir, we're not gonna go there.
uh,
We're not gonna speak that into existence, man.
um,
We
Two
matter of
days
fact,
in.
hey
we're not even
man,
gonna go there, man. No, sir.
hey man, it is nothing like traumatic Bears fans, bro. It's nothing like it. It's no, you
I
can't.
mean,
You
and
can.
we go dig way deep into the. It- I mean, that's talking about reaching in the crates. Oh my
Hey
God!
man, you can kind of set your clock to a traumatic Bears fan, man. But I do listen. I listen. I get his feelings, but nah, man, we ain't gonna put that on him. We not gonna put Kevin White on him. You know, we just gonna let this thing play out
Hmm.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing today. Karan Amagaji, first team reps at left tackle. Now, word on the street, it didn't go too well for him.
Well, that makes two of them then, because yesterday, I think it was yesterday or earlier today, Mr. Jones uh, was also before they even got going good. He had a yeah, he had a false start. So needless to say, when they got ready to do the 11 on 11, he did not he didn't get he wasn't out there with the ones. Ozzy was.
Yeah, I mean, listen. False starts gonna happen from now all the way to week 14. You know what I mean? But when you're not showing the ability to hold an anchor, when you're getting thrown around all everywhere and you're getting knocked off your spot, those are the things that's concerning. Not too concerning to the point because it's only day two, man. You know, it's only day two of live action. But I've listen, I still believe that Braxton's gonna be our guy come week one if he has no setbacks and everything like that. But I've said this and people laugh, people looked at me crazy. They even said I was crazy. But if no one, well, if anyone is given this job, not named Braxton Jones, given the job in camp, and he comes back and takes the job from them, then we drafted the wrong guys at that spot. Okay. So we're gonna see how it play out. But what are your thoughts, Matt? Talk to me, man.
You know what's funny is I don't and I've talked about this on some of the Chicago sports podcast shows too as well. I didn't hate Braxton Jones. I always thought he played okay last year at times. And when he went out, it was just unfortunate. And I think it's going to take a while for him to get back in. I mean, he's coming off the injury, so he's coming back into the new offense. But I said this too from the beginning of the year. I was like, if there's any concerns, I know we revamped our entire offensive line, but the left tackle, the tackle position is going to be something to keep an eye on all year because, to your point, I think you're right on that. Tripilla, it's going to be, he's a rookie. See what he does. But Bamagashi, I mean, we saw him play last year and just, I mean, he looked lost out there. And I want to know if it's going to be a second year. Sometimes it just takes some players a little bit of time to get into the league. I don't know, but I wasn't very encouraged from what I saw from him last year. Maybe a new coaching staff, maybe new coaches coming in to take over could teach you some different tricks, different techniques, and some things can go to you and some things can help you out a little bit more. You see it in the league all the time. Every year there's players that go to different teams that you think are done or that you think aren't that good, and they go to different teams in the new situation. So I don't know, man, but that's a lot. That's a position I'm going to be keeping an eye on all year because I think Braxton. I think that's going to be the guy. He should be the one to be the starter unless somebody blows us away.
Yeah, now, bitch, I'm gonna let you go in just a second. Excuse me. Like you said, left tackle position, very critical position. Now we talk about Karan. Karan Magaji, he did not have the luxury of having a training camp last year. So he's this training camp is turning pretty much into a rookie all over again. He had a little taste of experience late, well, throughout the season. Everybody's holding Minnesota that night, that one night in Minnesota against him. Me personally, I'm not. It didn't look bad. It didn't look well, but we all know that Minnesota defense made a whole bunch of O lines look bad. So I'm not really going to go too hard on them on that tip. But also, I think coaching is going to help all three of these guys, you know what I'm saying, get better and be better than they were. Well, especially Braxton. He's going to be better because he's been coached better than he was last year. Only thing with him, he has to stay on the field. and that's the only thing that's kind of concerns me. Oh, he can't stop the bull rush. Oh, he gets knocked down. All this stuff. Listen, that's the product of bad coaching. This year, he has the proper coaching in my mind, and I think in you guys' mind as well. So we can see we're going to see what happened. Now, a lot of people are high on Trapillo because of his size. He's a big kid, young. He wants it. He has pedigree. So it can go either way. But me personally, Braxton is weak. Braxton is a guy week one. Sorry, Bishop. You can go ahead.
No, that's fine, man. That's fine because it gave me a little more time to kind of gather my thoughts on it. And I was with you early on about Braxton being the starter. I'm still leaning toward Braxton being the starter, but the more I'm hearing Ozzy's name, it's it may turn out to be not come down to the two of them
Mm,
with regard to who's going to be the starter. And I really think it's going to be decided after the second preseason game.
mm,
I think it's gonna go into the preseason, and by the second preseason game, once they come out of that game, they will know who that starting left tackle is going to be. They're going to need to anyway because you figure you got the last preseason game, and then after that you're doing final cuts, and you can ready. And then look, 2 weeks later, you rolling into the regular season.
mm-hmm.
So by the end of the second preseason game, I'm pretty sure that they will have a clear cut idea who that person is going to be. Right now, I'm still leaning Braxton, but it seems like there is an affinity for Ozzy. Not and also it seems like Ozzy must be doing something pretty doggone right in OTAs, mini camp, and now here we are, day 2 into training camp. So it's going to be interesting. I do like the fact that Coach Johnson made it clear this is a competition.
Mm-hmm.
There's no favorites. May the best man win. So to what you were saying earlier, D Nice, whoever is the starter needs to be the starter for the entire season. And that's
Yeah.
what I want to see.
Great.
Yeah.
And if you're playing musical chairs with left tackles going into the throughout the season, then that means that none of the guys that we have is the guy, and we're gonna have to try it again.
Try.
Um, either
Man.
either try it again in the draft, or you're gonna have to pony up some money. And if one becomes available during free agency at the end of the season, and I hate to be
Yeah.
talking about the end of the season, we haven't even started the season yet,
Started. Yeah.
you know, but that's just something to consider. But I think that we're going to be okay. Um, I wanted to really quick. I know we're talking about the offensive linemen, but I don't want to ignore um, the fact that the chat is chiming in. And I
Yeah.
know Trapper Keeper asked for an update on Colston Loveland. Colston Loveland was seen out. He was out there today. He's in ramp up right now. So they're taking it easy with him. I'm quite sure by next week when they're able to start, putting on pads and really getting at it, he'll be out there then. But he was out there. He was seen out there today. He was running. He was doing some one-on-one stuff, and he did some walkthrough drills as well, just not anything with any contact. So that's the update on Loveland that I received. I don't know if you guys have anything else that was reported outside of what I've just mentioned, but if you do, chime in.
Nah, that's pretty much what I've heard. He and Braxton both ramp up mode. We probably won't hear nothing from him probably till next week. To be honest, or probably shoot. He may not play the first preseason game. Who knows? But since you mentioned preseason, the second preseason game, we'll figure out who's going to be that guy left tackle. I couldn't agree with you more, and that's more than enough time to figure out who it might be. And if the Bears, if the guy's still around there scratching their head, then Houston, we have a problem.
Well, think of it this way too, and I'm gonna let you chime in, Matt. Another reason why they need to know by week 2, because you know who we got for the third preseason game. We got Buffalo, man.
Yeah,
We got Buffalo, so we got to know who that left tackle is going to be that third preseason game, and that person's got to be ready. And
yeah,
what better test than the Buffalo Bills?
yeah.
Most
True
important
indeed.
position too on the field, guys. I mean, let's face it, that's also one of the most important positions on the field, and to keep our quarterback up and our quarterback to make that progress, man, we need that stability right there, and we need a guy like Braxton Jones. And I'm very confident, man. I'm cheering for him, and I hope it happens, and I hope he gets in there and we solidify that spot because it's so important for the development of Caleb Williams.
Yes, indeed. And listen, man, we can hope that he becomes a great left tackle, but he doesn't necessarily have to be great for this line to have success. Okay, let's get that out the way. You know,
Doesn't have to be great, but he's got to be better than good.
no, no doubt, but there's a huge gap between good and great. A lot of people don't think so, but I disagree with that. There's a huge gap between good and great. Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily have to be uh Dwayne Brown, you know what I'm saying, or Trent Williams for us to have success up front. Shout out to Scrolls, my man Ron, Trapper Keeper. Shout out to you, Tracks, Miss Cheryl. Appreciate you guys chiming in the chat. Excuse me. Also, shout out to my man Ed. Ed the snuck in the building, man. Shout out to you, Ed. But it's gonna be interesting to see how these guys develop, man. And them feeling the wrath of this defensive line, the new schemes that they're going to see coming from Dennis Allen, the way he's because he's bringing pressure. Word on the street, he's bringing pressure. Day one, he was bringing pressure. So hopefully, iron sharpens iron, and these guys get coached up and get better. But we got more injuries to report. Our young rookie D tackle got rolled up on this afternoon. I'm sorry. I think it's an ankle. He has
Who,
an ankle.
Shemar?
Shemar Turner, man.
Come
He
on,
got
really?
he got rolled up on. It looked pretty nasty, so to say. But listen, he's playing in those trenches. These things happen. But hey, man, better early than late. Injuries seem to be inevitable.
How about not at all?
Well, in a perfect world, Bishop, we would have it. We would have it that way in a perfect world,
We don't have a
man.
perfect world, do we?
Yeah, but as long as I don't hear ACL, torn pecs, and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? The other stuff gonna happen. Nothing that's gonna leave any of these guys with the opportunity not to play through this season. Because it blows to have a season injury day one or two of training camp. You know what I mean? So hopefully, what I'm saying, we can get through all the training camp without that. We can get through the season without anything season ending. That's my number one hope for our team. Get through this thing as healthy as possible. But
You don't want to scare like the Jets earlier today with
right.
Fields. It looked nasty. I guess it's
No,
not gonna
it's
be
a,
so
it's a
bad, but I
toe.
looked at
It's
that and I'm
it-
like,
it's a toe.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I heard it. I
yeah,
heard.
but I'm like, man,
I saw a clip. I was like, oh my god, what's going on over there? But no. But it turned out to be a toe. So
Mm,
to D Nice's point, as it's like you see something like that, and you're like, okay, I hope that. The first thing I thought is like, man, I hope something like that doesn't happen with our team.
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, man. Because we felt that so much. And I hate to sound like a traumatized Bears fan, but we have such great expectations for what's to come with this team. The last thing we want and need is someone of significance not being able to be a part of this thing coming into this season. That will really, what I'm saying, be kind of messed up.
hey,
But we're not gonna keep going with the gloom and
no,
doom. You
no,
know what I'm saying?
yeah, man. You know what I want to talk about, D Nice.
Go for it.
Did you see the interview with Kevin Byard and with Swift?
I most definitely did.
I loved what they said. Again, just more confirmation about the coaching and the direction that they want this team to go in, and the culture that they're looking to set up, and the foundation that they're laying. I'm super excited, especially to hear it come from a veteran like Kevin Byard, as well as Swift, to hear those two guys talk about the culture and the coaches and how they're being coached hard and how the guys are gravitating toward it. Man, that was for me. That was exciting to hear. What about you guys?
Yeah, Kevin Byard, man. You referenced him. I listened to his interview like an hour before we jumped on our show
Hmm.
today. And first off, you listen to him, you could tell you'd see the veteran and hear the veteran sound in his voice. You know what I liked about his talking? To me, it sounded like he takes nothing for granted at all. Like he was talking about how like the guy that for the Saints that just retired, Tyron Matthew that just
Yeah,
retired. And he said that he like watched him and looked up to playing to him and like just talking about the love of football. And I'm just like, man, I'm like to have guys like that on your team, you want that type of player on your team because he could set example for like everybody else, even for the young players, man. I was so impressed with the way he came across with that interview.
Yeah, man. Listen, Kevin Byard is what we call the constant professional, man. He speaks very confidently. He doesn't shy away, and he's very honest. With his observation of the team, the coaching staff, and the way these guys coming out here playing for day two of training camp. And he was like that all last season. But this listening to the interview, I was like, well, damn, things were really screwed up last season, man. Well, last year with that old coaching staff
yes, yes,
because a lot of the things that he and Swift brought up, bro, and I'm sure you guys have been a part of some type of team, whatever. But the things that they talked about that were being harped on, as far as details and just straight up coaching, those things should be normal. Those things should be regular. Those things shouldn't make us feel so happy that it's being done. It for it to go that way lets us really, what I'm saying, for us Bears fans to be overjoyed that okay, finally these guys got some guys that's focusing on details. Like to me, that is always an important part of this thing. And for us to be ecstatic about that part of it lets us know how screwed up it was last year. I heard DeAndre Swift say, um, ain't nothing. These guys out here ain't letting nothing slide. And I'm like, that's supposed to be regular. That's supposed to be normal. But and as we seen, and as we now hear, it wasn't. So with that alone lets me know that this team is going to be better. Now they may not be 13 or 14 games better, but they will be better with that alone because that element of it was missing on every part, every facet of the game, every facet of our team. That element was missing. So for these guys to reiterate these sentiments, and for us fans to sit up here and rejoice in the fact that we have the guys that's capable and that's willing to challenge the players that's slipping, regardless if they're making 30 million or 300,000, it lets you know how bad it was, but to have us be happy that we finally got this thing on track.
yeah, yeah. I want to point out, Ed, you're right. I know it's never happened. Especially not for our team. But I just want to be wishful thinking. I'm like day two. Can we at least get through the first week without anything major? That's all I was referring to.
Mhm.
However, I gotta say this, man. I have to agree with you guys, especially with Ed. When I heard that they was doing up downs, dude, you have no idea how elated I got, man. I was like, oh yes, old football, accountability. You ain't getting it right, give me some. I was loving that, man. To hear that, I was like, because we didn't hear none of that before. I'm gonna be honest, we never heard anything like that before. You know, and
Yeah.
like you said, D Nice, to be ecstatic about hearing about that, hearing about the discipline and the things that's going on, you would think that we would be like, okay, but that's nothing new. But for us to be ecstatic about it because it sounds like something very new is is an indictment on the previous regimes. I'm gonna keep it funky.
Yeah. Yeah.
An indictment, and to
Indeed,
think
man.
that some of those guys still got jobs.
So is it 1 day or 2 days of up downs?
It's two. I think they
Do
stopped it
they?
today, but they went from up downs to burpees. Now,
Oh man,
yeah. Hey
Oh, they
man.
gonna be in
those are
shape.
hard to do.
They gonna be in
Hey.
shape.
Or get it right one.
Both.
Yeah. So listen, man. Listen, man. I hate to be, I hate to be this guy, man, but it's needed. It's needed
But
for our team,
be
man.
that guy. Be that guy,
It's
man. Because
needed.
they've been
Well, I
needing that
say
guy
I hate
for
to
the
be.
longest
I
time.
I say I hate to be this guy because this stuff should have been going on. It should have been going on. But better late than never, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I excuse me for using that term, but think of it this way: we're talking about this now. Why at no time previously, past two regimes, was this never brought up by any member of our media? No, or did I just miss it?
I
Was
think you
it was it
missed.
spoken was it spoken on and I missed it because I just lost complete excitement because it just seemed like we were just constantly repeating the same thing over and over again and nothing was getting any better.
I wasn't paying attention to be honest with you. Because I think we just as fans, I think we just assume that like that type of stuff goes on the football field, and you get that type of discipline. But then when you started seeing the cracks last year, stuff coming out, you're like, what's going on with this coaching
Yeah.
staff here? So I think a lot of us dire fans, we just assume that that stuff goes on, and now you're like, okay, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, shout out to a couple of these guys that grace our airwaves and our social medias and YouTubes and stuff of that nature. They pointed it out, but a lot of people it went over their head because the casual fan doesn't understand how critical that part of the game is. Like, this is stuff that takes place before the actual game comes on, and the casual fan, they don't understand how important, because the job as a coach is to make Sundays, Thursday, and Monday be the easiest part. That's why, lining up correctly, getting to your reading, getting through all your reads, as a defensive lineman, understanding where you're supposed to be on a particular play or a particular formation. These things are critical. So on Sunday, Monday, or Thursday, we shouldn't have this mistake, because when we watch games and see big plays, and we understand that these guys are great players, but a lot of these big plays are made because of error. And we see big plays. We see a 60-yard pass, more than likely somebody blew a coverage. We see a 50-yard run, more than likely somebody was trying to do more than their job and got out of position and left a hole open there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why these stuff during the, what I'm saying, during the week before the game is so critical. And to hold guys accountable by either up downs, burpees, or just going to make them go to the sideline, it's a much needed thing. It's so critical to the operation, bro.
Shout out to Ed. Thanks for jumping in and chiming in, Ed. We appreciate you, man. Look forward to seeing you next week as well as jumping on all the different shows. So have an enjoyable evening. And thank you again.
Yeah, and then you may
Thank
have
you,
some
Ed.
people to say, "Oh, you treating these guys like little leaguers or high schoolers." Nah, man, you cannot go away from that. And I hate to use the word punishment, but I'm just gonna say when you hold guys accountable, you have to be this way. Cause it ain't like you can take a belt and go to whooping them and stuff like that. You have to make them pay for their mistakes in certain kind of ways. So listen, man, hey, I love it. But it shouldn't have taken this long, and we shouldn't be so excited about it because it should have been going on a long time ago.
True that.
um,
True that.
Do that, man.
You know, Matt. I was thinking about something too. To have those two guys, a Buyer and a Swift, both guys were brought in to be a part of this team. They weren't drafted here. These guys come from other organizations, so they've been around good coaching and bad coaching. So these guys know. To hear them speaking about it in the tone and the enthusiasm that they were speaking about it, to me, really says a lot about the direction that this team is looking to go in. And I love how Kevin Byard said, "Oh, we're looking to win a Super Bowl." Coach said he wants to create a dynasty, and I want to be a part of that. I want to have something to do with that. Man, that speaks volumes
It definitely
to
speaks
me.
volumes. Speaks volumes to me. Don't forget too, he played under Mike Vrabel for many years with the Titans, so he had that
mhm.
leadership and that coaching with him. You know what else? You got to keep this in mind about guys like Swift and Byard, like these guys who I'm big fans of. I like both of these guys, especially as we're talking about listening to them talk today. You hear their leadership. Those are guys you're happy to have on your team. But I think
Hmm.
we also got to keep in mind these are two guys with a new coaching staff coming in, and they're playing for it, man. Like we don't know, like we love Byard, but maybe at the end of the year, maybe he doesn't fit into Dennis Allen's defense like he was when he got signed here under the last regime. And
Mhm.
I think these guys, I think that at the same time, that's what we're going to be watching with them. But they're going to show their leadership. They're going to show their way. They're professionals, and those type of guys are going to always stand out to us, and they're always going to command the room. And I'm just happy that we got to hear that today, and we got to hear them talk about that today. So we know what we have here with this team right now because everything that we keep hearing about this coaching staff, we're starting to see it come out of these players a couple of days into camp, and that's a good sign.
And then,
Yeah.
hey, Bayard and Swift, man, these are two Philly guys, man. And Philly guys, if I don't know if you know any guys from Philadelphia, but they all have, most of them have a tough mindset, and they have a real gritty, grinding type mindset where they're willing to put in the work, put their head down and go to work and accomplish the goal. So and I think they kind of know each other, from back when, and I think yeah, because they're both from Philly, and Days' kids is also from Philadelphia. So, there's a lot of there's a little familiarity there on the team because I think Zacchaeus and Swift played together in high school.
It's really a Pennsylvania thing, man. All of them any guy that I've known that's come out of that region, out of the Pennsylvania region, man. Those guys, like you said, they're very tough minded individuals, man.
Hmm.
So which also if that's the case, you can talk about Jaquan Brisker,
Yeah,
another guy, man. I mean, it's just a mentality that these guys walk around with, man, and what they expect, and it's refreshing,
yeah,
it's refreshing.
yeah. He spoke about Jaquan as well, Kevin Byard. He spoke about Jaquan and asked him a question. Remember, we talked about this. Um, they asked Kevin Byard, was he going to try to convince Jaquan to play a different style of football? And Kevin Byard answered, I can't give you, the exact wording, but what he said was, no, we're not going to take away. the type of football player he is because essentially that's what got him here.
Yeah.
If we try to change his style, he's not going to be the best he can be.
And they feed off of him.
Yeah, they do.
They feed off him. He said he's an energy guy. He brings energy. What he
Hmm.
brings to the team, both sides of the football, but especially that defensive side. He said, "Man, we feed off that. We need that." So I
Yeah.
get it. And in all honesty, man, let's keep it real. Do you really want him to change how he play?
Nah, I mean, selfishly, no.
I
But
mean,
if it,
because this particular injury, this last concussion he had, wasn't because of anything that he did. You know,
hmm
outside of just being aggressive. He got hit in the back of the head, and that wasn't his fault. So I mean, and he said it himself. I'm not switching up. I've been playing like this my entire life since I was 6 years old. And honestly, it wasn't until he made it to the pros is when he started experiencing these injuries like this. So I mean, I just want the guy. If nothing, I think he has the tools now since he had to do the rehab that he had to go through, and as extensive as it was, that he
hmm
knows exactly what he needs to do now to keep his alertness and keep his nervous system and everything intact. So um, I just think this is going to be a breakout year for Jaquan. I think he's going to play at a Pro Bowl level, and I'm going out on the record to say that because when he's playing the way he plays, he is one of the better safeties in the league, and I think this is going to be his. I think this is going to be his coronation year. I think he's coming out, and this is going to be we're gonna know we're gonna hear his name a lot, and I expect to see him north of 100 tackles.
Yeah,
mm,
think of that position, guys. I don't think it's very difficult to change the way you play that safety position, the way that he
That too.
plays. Just go watch his film, man. It's going to be very difficult to try to slow yourself down. And you could see it in the beginning of last year, the impact he made and the way he plays and the speed he has and just how smart of a football player he is.
hmm
He's my top 2, 3 favorite players on the team. I think you could see the difference our defense was without him last year. It just wasn't the same. He's that guy he's there. I feel like he's there for every play. He's there for everything that's coming his way. He makes that play. He doesn't make
Hmm.
many mistakes, and I just think he's so good at his position. And to your point, Bishop, I agree with you, man. I think he comes back. I think he comes back strong this year. I think he comes back with a vengeance. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping so. And like I said, mentioned before, I hope the guy stays healthy, man. Because he can't hit those marks if he's sitting on the sideline. And like I said, selfishly, I want him to play like he's always played because playing that position, if you're out there thinking, you're in trouble.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
kind of play with some reckless abandon at that position.
Yeah.
You just do.
Well, yeah, you do,
Sacrificing
but
a lot.
it has to be instinctive though. You
True.
can't be around here thinking what's gonna happen if I hit him this way compared to that way. And it looks like he already looks like an instinctive ball player, but we just don't want him out there thinking too much, about how he's gonna approach a tackle, as he's getting ready to tackle somebody because he's either gonna miss the tackle or he's gonna get himself hurt.
Hmm.
And health is wealth, man. So, and I'm not even just talking about him as a football player, but as he goes through life, man, you know, because he's had to listen. He had a very rare concussion, and that's what kept him out for so long. I cannot remember the name of it, but it wasn't the normal. It was a rare concussion, and it kept him out all year. And because it was times when he think he was coming back. I don't know if you guys remember that in certain weeks we anticipated his comeback, and he said that he was not able to when Sunday came, he was not able to put everything together to get back out though. So much health and much love to Quantity B, and we wish him the best, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
another defender I want to talk about, and this guy was much maligned last year, and first 2 days of camp, he's starting off pretty good. It looks like he's found his way back, and that's Tremaine Edmonds. He had what would have been a pick six yesterday, and he's continuing to make plays on the field. He continued to make plays on the field today. So this is a guy that I've been rooting for for a while, and saying that last year he was just in a defense that did not fit him. You
He
know,
wasn't used properly, man.
yeah, I
He
mean,
was
yeah,
he was asked to do some things, man. That I mean, come on, it just didn't make logical sense.
it just
You
didn't
know,
fit with his makeup, man. His
no,
mental makeup as a football player just didn't fit with him. And this year, playing under Dennis Allen in a more attacking style, I truly believe he's gonna thrive. And I went out
You
on
know
a
what's
limb, Matt. I don't know if you caught it, but maybe in a couple of weeks ago, Bishop, I went out on a limb and said Edmonds gonna be a Pro Bowler this season.
yes, you did. You did
You know
say
what's
that.
interesting, guys? I was just looking up, and I think he has a bounce back here too. I think the way they use him, and already I think I already saw somebody tweet it out either yesterday or the day before that with this defense, the different looks he's going to be able to, the different ways that Dennis Allen's going to be able to use him is going to be totally different. But it's interesting with Edmonds this year because I was kind of looking over his contract, and I think to what I was saying a little bit earlier with some of these guys with a new regime coming in, that they weren't going to cut him this year. I think they would have taken like a $13 million cap hit, but if they cut him next year, it's only like $2 million. It's like 2 or 2.4 million. So I feel like for him this year, I think he's got. I mean, I'm sure he knows that too, but I'm sure he's going to go out there and he's got a lot to prove, and I hope he does, man, because I've always been a big fan. I was a big fan of his in Buffalo too, and I was
Yeah,
excited when we got him. And you're right, last year I didn't know what was last year. Last year there were times that I felt like that we didn't see him a lot on the field, or he didn't look in the right position on the field. I don't know the answer to that, so I'm interested to see what he looks like this year, and I hope it's a better one than what he
yeah,
had last year.
yeah. I think it will be. I think it will be. Well, I'm hoping as we all are, but I think him in particular, he's one of the few guys that are going to really benefit for the defensive change as far as from a schematic standpoint. He's going to really benefit from that. And he has so much size, man, and he's not slow. What makes you slow is if you don't know where the hell you're going. It puts you in a position where you have to hesitate and you have to do a little too much thinking. While you thinking, you ain't moving your feet, so you look slower than you actually are.
Yep.
And the reverse to that, if you prepare, you look a lot faster than you actually are on the football field or anywhere, football field, basketball court, anywhere. Like your ability to anticipate where things are going makes you look faster than you really are.
And then let's add one other thing to it. When you are happy, when you're elated about where you're at and your surroundings, he looks he appears to be comfortable. I think he's comfortable with the scheme. I think he's comfortable with Coach Dennis Allen and how Dennis Allen has expressed him how he's going to be used in this defense. And I think for him, it kind of gave him a sense of feeling like he was back in Buffalo, where now he can really move around and be utilized to his strengths. I
Hmm.
just don't think again, I know everybody was critical of the trading Roquan for both him and TJ, but especially for him, and didn't see why. But I think we're going to get an opportunity to really see why um, this young man was brought on to the team. Granted, now it's a completely different defense, completely different schemes and everything, but I think we're going to get a chance to see his true talent on display this season.
Mm,
I agree.
yeah. Um, Listen, lastly, man, let's talk about our quarterback. I don't, I had some technical issues before I really got to what I wanted to say about him. But another day with Caleb, kind of struggling a little bit, kind of struggling to hit the spots. Which I don't think is too alarming. I'm not listening. The last person that I'm worried about on this football team is Caleb Williams. I know I'm very confident on who this guy is, and I'm more than certain that whatever hiccups he has, they will be fixed by week one.
Well,
Um, Go for
I'm
it.
a,
I'm listening.
I gotta jump in.
Go ahead.
This is the time he need to be making the mistakes. This is what we want. We want all the mistakes right now. Make them. I want miss your mark.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Part of it is because of the change, how they got him changing his stance and how he's coming out from under center. A lot of it is the fact that he's playing more under center. But now is that time. And granted, we couldn't see much of that during OTAs and minicamp because again,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't really live football. We live.
We live,
So
baby.
we live. So with that being said, I'm glad he's making the mistakes. I'm glad he's struggling. I would be alarmed if he wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest.
Great.
I'm gonna be honest with this much change, and if he wasn't having any hiccups, no struggles of any type, I would be I would be alarmed only because I would think at some point if you think things are coming that easy to you, are you really going to be zoned in?
Yeah.
Versus I got a lot to work on. I got to really be focused on these different aspects of my game. And all we're looking for him to do with all the guys, but especially Caleb, is stack good days on top of good days. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's good that he's putting something on film that he can go back and sit down and watch and study with the coaches that they can critique and go over and have something to work on. So I'm not alarmed at all. I'm glad myself. I'm glad that he's having these struggles.
Yes, indeed. It's the hunger, baby. That we need to see the hunger.
Yeah,
And
I
the
agree
hunger.
too, guys. I was thinking about this with Caleb Williams because I was reading a lot of the stuff from the first couple of days with the offense, and even when I had my Friday shows, I was like, I really do believe at the start of the season. I'm interested to see what it does because of a whole new system and a quarterback. Because I think there's going to be times where there could be some struggles and just to get to the groove of everything. But if you think about everything that he went through last year between the coordinators and the coaching, and now he's coming into another new coaching staff with a brand new offensive line and a new system. And to your point, Bishop, too, that I'm happy to see him that he's struggling now too, because that means this is going to take some time. He's just trying to get the progression, the steps, the different techniques that he needs to do to make this offense work, and it's going to take some time. And we're probably going to see that in some of the preseason games, but it's a good thing that it's happening now because I feel like this is going to set up for him to be very successful as the season goes on.
Yep. We need something to talk about. It's only day two of training camp, man, and he's definitely giving us something to talk about and ponder over, But I think the issues, like I said, the issues he has, like you guys said, it's a great thing. If he came out of train, if he came out the first 2 days firing on all cylinders, there's a problem somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think because he's working on things that he has to get better at.
Or
And if
things
he
that he
come,
is or things he's not accustomed to doing.
yeah.
That he
So
didn't
if
learn
he
last year.
so if he comes out this thing firing, it lets me know that he's just doing the same things that he's used to. The great thing about being uncomfortable is that it's making you a better person or a better player. If you're doing things outside of your comfort zone, more than likely, this is develop another part of yourself to make you a better person or a better player. So yeah,
Mike Tomlin once said his quote. Mike Tomlin said, "I don't seek comfort. Don't seek comfort."
yeah,
That was stood out to that one. Always stood out to me.
yeah.
You know,
Get
and I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm going through that a little bit of that myself right now. Rebuilding my business, man, and looking to kind of scale it and go in a completely different direction. A little more autonomy, more just involvement solo myself versus trying to bring in other individuals to incorporate with what I'm trying to do. And
hmm
I'm gonna be honest, man. It's been a tough going. It's been a tough going, but I'm learning some things about myself. Um, I'm also learning my thought process on how I'm processing things and how I'm seeing things and having silent conversations with myself. So I get
hmm
it. I know what they going. I completely get it. But again, if you're not a competitor, then you would buckle and curl up.
Hmm.
If you're a competitor, if you're a winner, and you want to achieve greatness, you want to be better, then you relish being uncomfortable. You want the challenges. And
Yeah.
Caleb, to me, gives me the epitome of a person that wants to be great. You know,
Yeah.
he wants to be a great quarterback. He's setting high goals for himself. So hey, man, I'm all for it, man. You know,
Yeah.
I'm happy. I want to see him succeed, and I believe he will succeed.
Me too.
Yeah. He's gonna lock in, man. He's gonna lock in, no doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. So, I mean, with that, fellas, I mean, what else you got? If you don't have any more, man.
Really quick, because you had mentioned it, and so I took the liberty of looking it up. So the type of concussion that Jaquan Brisker had was called a vestibular concussion.
Mm,
And this particular type of concussion can affect your balance, your vision, and also cause dizziness. So when he was saying that there's times that he felt that he could go, but then he realized his body just was not able to go, that kind of explains it.
mhm,
And in order to really retrain your nervous system, it has to he had to go through and undergo specific exercises.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah. Well, Matt, since it's your first night with
Man,
us,
it was
first
good
Thursday
having you,
night with
Matt.
us,
It was
great
good
having you,
having you, boss.
man. We're gonna
Dude,
let you. We're gonna let you give shout outs. You know what I'm saying, and say your pleasantries to the good people out there.
well, first off, thank you guys for letting me be part of your show, man. I watch you guys every Thursday, so to be part of your show now on Thursdays, man, I'm excited for this. And this was a blast. This is so much fun, guys in the chat too. Thank you guys very much for watching tonight. To everybody here that's part of this podcast, that's awesome, man. And I look forward to doing this again with you guys next Thursday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matt, I'm glad that you're part of the squad, man. And I'm glad that you came on tonight. I'm looking forward to you being on Thursdays as well. D nice as always, man. I love chopping it up with you, brother. And we got to do it 2 nights in a row, man. So,
Yes, indeed.
that was real good, man. My quick pleasantries is to everybody out there in the chat, everybody in Chicago, all the Chicago Bears fan, whether you're in Chicago, whatever city or state you in. Thank you very much. More importantly, I want to give some quick pleasantries to my number one girl, Rita, my sister, Felicia, my brother out there in Florida, my boy Stuart, along with my niece, Sophie, and everybody else out there. If I forgot you, my bad. All my SIU people, I'm glad you guys made it back safely from Carbondale over the weekend. But more importantly, to the CS podcast family, thank you so much for holding us down each and every single Thursday, each and every day, for everybody that has a show on this platform. Tracks, thank you so very much. But everybody out there in the chat, especially those who I hadn't seen in a while, Ed, wow, I mean, you name it, Cheryl,
I see Ron out there too.
Tropical, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
list goes on, man. Just thank you guys so much, man. Again, we do this for you guys, because we could talk about sports all day long, but we're just average Bears fans giving content for Bears fans. So again, thank you very much. D Nice, you can take us away, brother.
Well, I think you guys said it all. What they said. Um, shout out to everybody wherever you watching from. If you like what you see and you want more, please like and hit the like button. Subscribe to the content. Chicago Sports Podcast is where it's at. You're always welcome to give your opinions and share your knowledge of the game or your perspective of this beautiful game we call football, and most importantly, Bears football. So shout out to you guys. Thanks for rocking with us tonight. Spread love, show love. Peace up. Bear down.
Bear down, y'all.
You're down, guys.